Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express. It's the most important news and editorial of the day that is relevant for both prelims and mains examination perspective will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with the news topic list. Today is 4th of November. The first important news that is India will insist on action, clear framework at COP27. Second, decline in the pre-primary enrollment that has continued for 2021 and 22 amid the COVID-19 crisis and many other factors. And the third is Nagaland to host the first bird documentation event. Fourth, a gold mushroom combo to ease the drug delivery. And the last is an editorial, poverty is down, period. Apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based questions. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further delay, let's get started. And before I begin this session, those of you who are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do press a like button. Starting the session with the first news, that is India will insist on action, clear framework at COP27. Something important for General Studies paper 2 under the subtopic, that is bilateral regional grouping and agreement involving India and affecting India's interest. Now, ahead of the 27th edition of United Nations Conference of Parties, like the Union Environment Minister has said that India will demand for action in terms of climate finance, which India has advocated in many multilateral forum as well. तो climate finance पे जोर देने की बात की गई है जो COP27 की मीटिंग हो रही है, and even technology transfer capacity building from the developed countries to help the developing countries to fight the climate change will be the top priority from India. The 27th edition of the United Nations Conference of Parties is scheduled to begin on 7th to 18th of November, and this will take place in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt. The US President, the UK Prime Minister, and more than 100 heads of the state is expected to attend this conference. Now, what is important for the prelims examination? एक तो इंडिया की क्या डिमांड है वो आपको पता होना चाहिए, climate finance, technology transfer, capacity building, and the other important part that is relevant for the prelims examination is the venue, that is Sharm el-Sheikh. Now, going to the map, I've already given you some picture regarding this map when we have discussed this news. So this is the exact location. UPSC can ask you this in the prelims examination about the location. It is there in the Red Sea region. If you talk about the other location that is important is Suez Canal, Mediterranean Sea, Nile River, and these are the other locations that can be relevant for the prelims examination perspective. The use basically अगर बात करें climate finance की, India will seek the clarity as what to begin, and even in terms of climate finance, the grant, loan, and subsidies are important, right? And it will demand the separations of public and private finance. Now, some of the developed countries will join India to raise the issues of $1 billion per year that was already anticipated by the climate developing countries. And at COP27 in Copenhagen 2019, the developed countries committed to jointly mobilize $100 billion per year by 2020 to achieve and help the developing countries to meet the target, right? Even to tackle the nuances and even to basically overcome the challenges of the climate change. But even this separations part and even talking about the commitment that was made for the $100 billion has not been yet made. Now there's an effort which India will look for the new collective quantified goals. So India will push for a new collective quantified goal. This is known as NCQG. This can be again relevant for the prelims examination perspective. For climate finance, a key accompanying decision is like that was there in the 2015 Paris climate change. वहाँ पे बात की गई थी $100 billion की. The corpus will definitely help the developing countries to overcome the repercussions of climate change. The developing countries should not only fulfill their climate finance promises, but new collective and quantified climate goals should also be set. India would advocate for a transparent mechanism to tackle the climate finance, and even talking about the mains examination per se, climate finance एक ऐसी टॉपिक है जो आपके मेंस एग्जामिनेशन में डायरेक्ट इसमें सवाल पूछे जा सकते हैं. So make sure you have good points to write, specifically in context of the mains examination. And a senior official from the ministry has said that India will seek more clarity on the adaptation of the finance. Now, talking about the collaborations in the technological development, India will look for the collaborations in technological development, renew energy, and hard to abate the sector. And India is one of the few countries that has to meet the climate since 2015. See, already the intended national determined contributions की बात करें INDC की, उसमें इंडिया ने अपनी कमिटमेंट ऑलरेडी की है और भी ऐसे कई कंट्रीज है दे हैव शोन देयर कमिटमेंट and some of the targets of the Paris climate change has yet not met. So this will be again pivotal for India to achieve all the targets. And in this year, updated the nationally determined contribution keeping in the promises. The Prime Minister has already made Panchamrit as an initiative और इंडिया ने और भी सारी कमिटमेंट की है that they will be looking forward to achieve as a target. Now, talking about India's update to the NDC. According to the updated NDC, India will now stand committed to the reductions of intensity of its GDP by 45% by 2030, that is to 2005 level, achieving 50% of the cumulative electric power installed capacity from the non-fossil fuel energy resources by 2030. And the important initiative that was announced by the Prime Minister in the COP26 was the LIFE initiative, right? What is this LIFE? LIFE stands for the lifestyle for environment and key to combat the climate change that has been added as India's in national determined contribution. इंडिया की जो NDC है उसमें से ऐड की गई. Now the NDC are the national plan and the pledges made by the countries to limit the global temperature even to what is rising below 2 degrees Celsius, preferably 1.5 degree Celsius. So this is what the target that was set by India. Now moving to the other news, decline in the pre-primary enrollment continues in 2021 and 2022. This particular news is important for General Studies Paper 2 under the subtopic that is issues related to development and management of education and human resources. So according to the latest report that was published by the Ministry of Education, the number of children entering the pre-primary classes has further declined, right? What are the reasons? We'll see the reason in detail about that as well. Now this has resulted to 30% of the fewer children in the school section compared to the pre-COVID at the younger student. So this was the data that was released. And in fact, this is relevant for both prelims and mains examination. Now, less access to remote learning continued to bear a biggest burn in the learning process during the pandemic. This is evident from the fact that during the COVID-19 lockdowns, many schools were closed and even the enrollment rate was on the decreasing side. Now, more about the report. According to the Unified District Information System of Education, plus report on the school education, a total of 94.95 lakh students enter the primary classes, registering a drop of 10% as compared to the previous year when 1.06 lakh were reported. However, in 2021, there were already declined by 21% in the enrollment of the pre-primary classes as compared to 1.35 crore of the year before or due to the school closure and the classroom were moving online. But the positive was that many of the areas in country were not able to have the access of the amenities that is required. The computer, the internet connectivity was not there, and which has severely enlarged the widening of the gap in terms of online learning for the rural India. Now, enrollment in the primary classes की अगर बात करें, in primary classes which include 1 to 5 also saw a drop for the first time, falling from 12.20 lakh in 2022 and 2020 and 21, and it has widened to 12 lakh 0.18, that is for this particular area. So earlier it was this much and the current data is this. However, the number of the student from the primary to higher secondary has increased from 19 lakh to 25.57 crores. So this is a number, a drastic number, which is again concern for the government of India. Now talking about the decline in the number of school, also for the first time since the pandemic, the report says that there's a decline in the number of the school due to closures and the lack of teachers were also there. And there were 20,000 fewer school in 2021 and 22. A total number of school has dropped to 15.09 lakh to 14.89 lakh. So this is again reduction in the number. Government has come up with PM's 3 scheme. I think I've discussed this news in detail. Most of you must be aware. तो पीएम श्री स्कीम के थ्रू गवर्नमेंट ने और ज़्यादा स्कूल बनाने की बात की है. आप इस तरह के एग्जाम्पल्स मेंस में ज़रूर कोट करें, सो दैट the effort that is made by government is working in a right direction, right? And there were also 1.89 lakh school, अगर percentage में compare करें, 1.98 fewer teachers in the number of reduction that was seen from 96.96 to 95.97, basically 0.7. This is for 2021 and 22. So you can note down the data, if required you can use in the prelims, but essentially आपको बहुत ज़्यादा data याद करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. You can use this percentage data, that will be more easy to remember. Now talking about the data that is actually there in the newspaper. So this is what the enrollment rate has been said. The color code is mentioned here about the higher senior secondary, primary and upper primary levels. So you can compare the data from 2018-19 to 2021 and 22. Now, if you talk about the computer facilities which were there, which were available in 44.75 schools, while internet access was available only in 33.9% of the school. However, the availability has improved as compared to the pre-COVID level. Only 38.5 of the school has computer and 23.3 has the internet facility. So this is about the reality and the amenities that was actually provided for the rural student in our country, right? Specifically talking about rural India, still there is a paucity of amenities and paucity of internet connectivity, which has definitely led us to the reductions in widening the gap of the learning process. Now, Nagaland to host first bird documentation event, something important for General Studies Paper 3, that is conservation, environmental pollutions, degradations, and EIA. So the Nagaland is gearing up to host the first documented event, that is Toku Among Bird Count, from November 4 to 7, 2022. It's a very important news. You can expect a direct question in the prelims examination. The first question that can be asked about the TEBC, that is Toku Among Bird Count, ये आपसे पूछा जा सकता है कि किस चीज़ से related है और ये कहाँ पे की गई, right? And for many other government examinations, this is also relevant. It is an effort to promote and encourage the conservation of birds in their natural habitat, and it is an collaboration among the Voka Forest Divisions, Divisional Management Unit of the Nagaland Forest Management, and even the Bird Count of India is participating in the overall efforts. Biological diversity in Nagaland की अगर बात करें, located in the Indo-Malayan Global Biodiversity Hotspot, Nagaland is one of the most biologically diverse and important location in the northeastern state. Now, it is a mountainous state with Naga Hills rising from the Brahmaputra Valley in Assam, reaching up like 1800 meters from the southeast. And Nagaland is a state which has diverse festival as well as basically diverse bird life. Now, what is the aim of this bird count? अगर बात करें Toku Among Bird Count की, this is the first initiative where the community is encouraged to celebrate the festival with the birds. And the first editions of the Toku Among Bird Count aims to recognize the incredible birds diversity and draw attention to threaten the habitat of Nagas. Now, about the exercise की अगर बात करें, the exercise entail watching and counting the birds of any or all days from November 4 to 7 anywhere in Nagaland for at least 15 minutes, uploading their avian names on eBird. This is the website that is provided for recording. This is something that will make data, and this is a platform which individual can use to upload the data and just help the organization in overall process. So this exercise is being conducted from 4th of November to 7th of November. Toku Among Bird Count, Nagaland first bird documentation event, bird watching walks, presentation will be there, documentaries will be there, and bird counts will be something that would be very important, and individual has to contribute in this part. Now moving to the other news, a gold mushroom combo to ensure the drug delivery, something important for General Studies Paper 3 under the subtopic Achievement of India in Science and Technology, Indianization of Technology and Development of New Technology. And this can also be relevant in the same paper for the conservation, environmental pollution, degradation and EIA. Now, Bodoland University collaborations work on the fungus-powered biosynthesized nanogold particle to earn the international patent. This is with regards to ensure that overall nanoparticle which is there in the medical field will revamp the overall function. The medicine may soon have the traces of ultra microscopic gold powered a super mushroom that is with greater efficacy. So this is the image of the mushroom. This is called as a golden mushroom, right? And it has a efficacy that will help the medical practitioner even in the field for the medicine, that will help the patient as well. Now, Cody gold nanoparticles. This is something the outcome of the collaborative experiment by the scientists and the four Indian institutions that have earned international patent from Germany. And these nanoparticles are delivered from the synthetic and extract of the quartzites, which is again a gold salt, will make the drug, and basically it will help the human body to faster absorb it. If you talk about the Cordyceps militaris, is a high value parasitic fungus, has a low lab at, basically this was done at the ITC, the TIC in the Biotechnological Technical and Incubation Center at Bordeaux University. One of the collaboration were there with the patent work. Now, the gold salt and the ionic chemical compound are of the gold generally used for the medicinal purposes. So this can again be a relevant question for the prelims examination. Although UPSC ने mushrooms पे already 2022 में एक सवाल पूछे हुए हैं, so this become very important this year as well. And in terms of better penetration, so this is what is the advantages of this mushroom, the gold mushroom. The penetration in the cell is more when the drug particle are smaller, and the Cordyceps militaris is called as a super mushroom for its tremendous medicinal properties. It's add bioactive components to the synthetic of gold and nanoparticle for better penetration. Now, this has been an extensive work on the genetic diversity and medicinal properties of the wild Cordyceps mushroom, which is grown in the eastern Himalayan belt. Over 8 years, they have standardized the cultivation of the mushroom with antimicrobial, anti-diabetic, and antioxidant properties. Now, the new applications of nanoparticle is something very important. The biosynthesized nanogold particles indicate that the new applications of the nanoparticle in the development of therapeutic drugs can also be delivered in ornaments. जो creams होते हैं basically that can be used here, tablets, capsule, and many other forms for the medicinal drugs and purposes. Now, moving to the editorial of the day, that is poverty is down period, something important for general studies paper 2. Under the subtopic, that is the government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from a design and implementations. So what I'm going to discuss under this editorial, so about the theme is poverty, nutrition, and government policies. We'll be looking into important aspects like poverty reductions, the global hunger index के बारे में देखेंगे, progress जो government ने अभी तक की है, and the way forward. So a recent release of the National Family Health Survey data, this was National Family Health Survey data 5, which has allowed a detailed analysis and the progress made. Basically कुछ reluctancy भी देखी गई है in terms of absolute poverty and the determinants like nutrition, because the stakeholder are of the concern that actual this data is reliable or not, and how far, talking about the ground reality, whether this is matching the criteria or not. In some of the contradiction, it has distributed the trend of the poverty declining in India, right? After COVID, many agencies, international agencies has reported that the poverty in India has increased. But the National Family Health Survey is an opinion that it has on a decreasing trend. It is a matter of debate that India's economic growth has been the most inclusive since 2014 and 19. This is what the government also claimed, that this was a golden period for the present government. And accession was backed by a strong empirical evidence, yet was made with a strong contest. Now, talking about the poverty reductions, the part that was there, right? So, policymakers and academies has given the high priority to the poverty reductions, and inclusive growth is something that was a priority for the government per se. And the two period that was examined were 2005 to 11 and 2011 to 2021. So this was a comparison which was taken by the expert. And the National Family Health Survey, as a part of multi-dimensional attempt, provide an estimate about the multi-poverty index, right? It's a MPI we कहते हैं. The computation rests on the poverty according to the 10 different indicators. मैं आपको बताऊंगा 10 कौन-कौन से ऐसे indicators हैं that is relevant. And deprivations, even the derivation index of the indicators are, basically it is something that is giving you an idea about the comparison between the 2005, 2011 and the present government that has continued. So this is the data from 2005-6 till 2015, right? You can see the MPI derivation. This called for 10 indicators. मैंने आपको बताई वो 10 indicators हैं: nutrition, child mortality, years of schooling, school attendance, cooking fuel, sanitations, drinking water, electricity, housing, and assets. Now, global hunger index की अगर बात करें, very recently the poverty indicator has been released by the global hunger index, and this has shown that India is worsening. Basically, it has actually worsened between 2014 and 21, and the contradiction is regarding with the NFS data, क्योंकि ये दोनों में जो data NFS की तरफ से आई है, and with for the other important index, it is contradictory in nature. The demographic and the health survey, that is a nutritional index, has improved to 2.5%. This is a good news. This is 5 times higher compared to the other indicators. Now, this has improved not only by the change, but the reflection of several public policy indicated by the central government. And some of the focus by the government include housing, access, cooking, fuel, and sanitation. So these were the priority area and the focus area of the government in due course of time to ensure that they are working towards the poverty reductions. Now, progress of the government की अगर बात करें, कुछ important schemes हैं जिसने काफ़ी अच्छा किया है in the progress they have made. So the first is with regards to the modern cooking fuel, that is Ujjwala Yojana. It has nearly halved the depreciation in the part of depreciation, that is there from 26%, 14% तक लाई गई है, reduction हुई है. Affordable housing schemes की अगर बात करें, that is Awas Yojana, has meant to less than 14% deprived people, has now thrived by 2011-12. Now, more recently, by after 2019, the Prime Minister has embarked the ambitious universal access to pipe water, that is Jal Jeevan Mission, और गवर्नमेंट की कोशिश है कि 100% piped water दिया जाए by 2024. Although this progress was made from 17% in 2019, as of the current, जो अगर current data है 2022 की, this 54% has already been achieved. The decline in multidimensional poverty is extreme something, and manifestation of the success of the government policies is very important. So the government also need to work on the part where they're actually working for the beneficiaries and even to ensure there is a proper delivery system of the schemes. Now, the way forward, no matter how you look at the data, it is visible of the evidence of the fact that the poverty has reduced. Yes, to the larger extent, comparatively, it has reduced. And through the conventional multidimensional way, using modern multidimensional measure has escalated post 2014. And the government need to put more emphasis on policy making to benefit the common people, right? So to benefit and basically to help the common people, the government should always come up with such policy which is actually helping the citizen of this country and the other stakeholders and even the poorest of the society. Now, moving to the MCQ questions of the day. Before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday questions. For first question, the correct option is B. For second question, the correct option is C. Today's MCQ for practice, आपको बताना है olive riddle turtle के बारे में. It's a carnivorous. Odisha Garimatha Marine Sanctuary is something which is the world largest rookery for the sea turtle. I think most of you must be aware of this answer. It's a very easy question. So do check it out which among the following is the correct one. The second is National Urban Digital Mission. The Ministry of Communication has launched the National Urban Digital Mission. It will create shared digital infrastructure for urban India, working across 3 pillars of the people, progress, and platform to provide the holistic support and the time, right? So do check it out for the correct option. This type of question might be relevant for the upcoming prelims examination. This was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis, followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, you can let me know. I'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.